The plane shook. Two fighter jets flew very close to the windows. People smiled and took photos. They thought it looked cool. But one quiet woman in seat 12C knew the truth. She heard the panic in the young pilot's voice over the radio. She saw the smoke trailing from his jet. For 7 years, she had been nobody. Just a regular passenger. But today, she would hear a name she thought was buried forever. A name that would change everything. Eagle One. The call sign only the best pilots ever earned. Her call sign. Her past was about to catch up with her. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The morning sun came through the airplane windows slowly. People sat in their seats, looking at their phones and drinking coffee. Nobody talked much. It was just another regular flight. Sarah Miller sat in seat 12C. She wore a simple gray sweater and jeans. Her bag was under the seat in front of her. Inside the bag was something she had not looked at in a long time. A small metal pin with wings on it. She had carried it for 7 years, but she never showed it to anyone. Sarah was 38 years old. She looked like any other passenger. Her hair was tied back in a simple way. She had no makeup on. Nothing about her looked special or different. When she walked to her seat earlier, people moved past her without looking. The flight attendant smiled at everyone the same way. Sarah was invisible. That was exactly what she wanted. But Sarah Miller was not her real name. 7 years ago, she was Captain Rebecca Stone. She flew military jets. She was one of the best pilots in the Air Force. Other pilots called her Eagle One because she could fly better than almost anyone. She trained young pilots. She flew dangerous missions. She saved lives. Then something happened. A mission went wrong. The military told everyone that Captain Rebecca Stone died. They had a funeral. They gave her family a flag. But Rebecca did not die. She was alive. The military told her she had to disappear. They said it was for safety. They said nobody could know the truth. So Rebecca became Sarah. She moved to a small town. She got a simple job at a library. She stopped flying. She stopped being a pilot. She tried to forget her old life. But sometimes, late at night, she still dreamed about the sky. Now she was on this plane, going to visit her sister. She wanted a quiet life. She wanted peace. She did not want to be Eagle One anymore. The plane started moving down the runway. Sarah closed her eyes. She could feel everything. She felt the engines working. She felt the small shakes in the floor. She knew exactly when the pilot would pull up. Old habits never go away. The man next to her was reading a newspaper. A woman across the aisle was feeding a baby. 2 teenagers behind her were laughing about something on their phones. Normal people doing normal things. Sarah wanted to be normal too. Then something changed. A voice came over the speaker. It was the captain. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are experiencing some minor radio problems. Nothing to worry about. We will fix it soon. Please remain seated." Most people did not care. They kept looking at their phones. But Sarah's body went tight. She knew that voice. The captain sounded calm, but there was something else there. Something hidden. Fear. Sarah looked out the window. The sky was clear and blue. Everything looked normal. Then she saw them. 2 gray fighter jets. F-16s. They were flying very close to the plane. Too close. They moved into position on both sides. Their wings caught the sunlight. The man next to Sarah saw them too. "Wow, look at that," he said. "Must be some kind of escort." That's pretty cool. Sarah said nothing. Her hands held the armrests tight. She knew this was not normal. Fighter jets do not fly this close to passenger planes. This was not an escort. This was something else. The woman across the aisle took a picture with her phone. My kids will love this, she said. Sarah watched the jets carefully. She saw things other people could not see. The left jet was moving too much. The pilot was making small mistakes. The nose went up and down too fast. That was not good. That pilot was having trouble. Then she heard something. Static from the speakers. A voice came through. Young. Scared. Control, this is Falcon 2. I have a problem. Low fuel. Controls are not working right. Most people did not hear it clearly. The sound was too low. But Sarah heard every word. Her heart started beating faster. A woman in front stood up. Did anyone else hear that? She asked. Something about fuel. A flight attendant walked over quickly. Please sit down, ma'am. Everything is fine. But everything was not fine. Sarah knew that. The fighter jet pilot was in trouble. And when a fighter jet has trouble near a passenger plane, everyone is in danger. Sarah looked at her bag under the seat. Inside was that pin with wings. The one she had not touched in 7 years. She did not want to touch it now. She wanted to stay invisible. She wanted to stay as Sarah Miller, the quiet library worker. But people were in danger. The static came again. Louder this time. Falcon 2 losing altitude. Can't hold position. Repeat, can't hold position. A man shouted from the back. Something is wrong. I heard that pilot. He's in trouble. People started looking around. Some looked scared. Others looked confused. A mother pulled her child close. The flight attendant spoke into her phone. Her face was worried. She tried to smile at the passengers, but her hands were shaking. Sarah closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. 7 years of hiding. 7 years of being nobody. All of that could end right now. But if she did nothing, people might die. She opened her eyes. She unbuckled her seatbelt and stood up. The man next to her looked surprised. Hey, they said to stay seated. Sarah did not answer. She walked to the front of the plane. People stared at her. The flight attendant saw her coming. Ma'am, you need to sit down, the attendant said. I need to talk to the captain, Sarah said quietly. That's not possible. Please return to your seat. I'm a pilot, Sarah said. I used to fly those jets outside. The ones you see. That pilot out there is in serious trouble. The flight attendant looked at Sarah's simple clothes. She looked at her tired face. She did not believe her. Ma'am, I'm sure the Air Force can handle their own pilots. Please sit down. More static came over the speakers. The young pilot's voice was breaking now. Falcon 2. Engine warning light. Fuel critical. I don't know if I can. Sarah reached into her pocket. She pulled out the pin with wings. It was old and scratched. But the wings were real. Military pilot wings. She held it up. My name is Captain Rebecca Stone, she said quietly. Call sign Eagle 1. I trained that pilot outside. If you don't let me help him, he will crash. And he might hit this plane when he does. The flight attendant stared at the wings. Her face went pale. She picked up her phone and spoke fast. Then she knocked on the cockpit door. The door opened a little. The captain looked out. He looked tired and scared. What is it? Sir, this woman says she's a military pilot. She says the fighter jet is in real danger. The captain looked at Sarah. He saw a plain woman in a gray sweater. Ma'am, we have trained professionals handling this situation. Sarah held up the wings again. Captain, I'm Rebecca Stone. Eagle 1. I flew F-16s for 10 years. I was an instructor. That pilot out there is about to lose control. You can hear it in his voice. His fuel is critical, and his controls are failing. If he goes down near this plane, we all go down. Another burst of static. The young pilot's voice was desperate now. Mayday, mayday. Falcon 2. Engine flame out. I'm going down. The captain's face changed. He looked at the wings in Sarah's hand. He looked at her eyes. Something in her eyes made him believe. Get in here, he said. Sarah stepped into the cockpit. It was small and crowded. The co-pilot turned around, surprised. Outside the front window, Sarah could see both fighter jets clearly. The one on the left was dropping. Black smoke came from its engine. The captain handed her a headset. If you can help, do it now. Sarah put on the headset. She took a deep breath. For 7 years, she had been Sarah Miller. But right now, she had to be Eagle 1 again. She pressed the talk button. Falcon 2, this is Eagle 1. Do you copy? Silence. Just static. Then a young voice came through. Shaking. Confused. Eagle 1. But. Eagle 1 is dead. Who is this? Falcon 2, this is Eagle 1. I'm alive, and I'm on the passenger plane next to you. Listen to my voice. Do you recognize it? A pause. Then the voice came back, stronger. Ma'am. Captain Stone. Is that really you? Yes, son. It's really me. Now listen carefully. I need you to calm down and follow my instructions exactly. Can you do that? Yes, ma'am. But my engine is gone. I'm dropping fast. Sarah looked out the window. She could see the jet falling slowly. The pilot was trying to control it, but it was not working. In about 30 seconds, he would have to eject. If he ejected near the passenger plane, his jet could hit them. Falcon 2, how much altitude do you have? 15,000 feet. Dropping at 800 feet per minute. What about your backup systems? Is your APU working? APU is, wait, let me check. Yes. APU shows active. Sarah felt relief. The APU was the auxiliary power unit. It could give enough power to control the jet without the main engine. Good. Listen to me. Switch all control power to APU. Cut the main engine systems. Everything goes to APU. Switching now. The jet outside stopped dropping so fast. The nose came up a little. It's working. I have some control back. Excellent. Now, you can't stay up here much longer. You need to land. Is there an emergency airfield nearby? The co-pilot spoke up. There's a military base 40 miles east. Sarah nodded. Falcon 2, there's a base 40 miles east. Can you make it there on APU power? I think so. But I've never done an emergency landing like this. Yes, you have, Sarah said firmly. I trained you for this. Remember simulator session 42? This is exactly the same. You know what to do. A pause. Then the young pilot's voice came back, calmer now. I remember. Keep the nose up. Gentle glide. Don't fight the descent. Perfect. Now start your turn east. Nice and slow. The passenger plane will follow you until you're clear. Sarah looked at the captain. Can we adjust course to follow him? The captain nodded. Already doing it. Outside, the damaged F-16 started turning slowly. The other F-16 moved with it, staying close to help. The passenger plane turned too, keeping a safe distance. For the next 10 minutes, Sarah talked to the young pilot. She guided him through every step. Her voice stayed calm and steady. The pilot's voice got calmer too. He was remembering his training. He was remembering everything she had taught him. Falcon 2, you're doing great. The base is in sight. Do you see the runway? Yes, ma'am. I see it. Okay. This is the hard part. You're going to have one chance at this. Your APU doesn't have enough power for a second try. So we do this right the first time. Understand? Understood, ma'am. Lower your landing gear now. It will slow you down, but you need it down early. Gear coming down. I can feel the drag. That's normal. Keep your nose up. Watch your speed. Not too fast, not too slow. The passengers on the plane had no idea what was happening. They saw the fighter jet turning away. Some people took more pictures. They thought it was exciting. They did not know they had been in danger. The captain watched Sarah work. He was amazed. She was completely focused. She knew exactly what to say. She sounded like she had done this 1,000 times. Falcon 2, you're on final approach. Looking good. Keep it steady. I'm coming in fast, ma'am. That's okay. Let it come in fast. Just keep it straight. You trained for this. Trust yourself. Yes, ma'am. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment. She could picture it. The runway getting closer. The jet dropping fast. The young pilot's hands tight on the controls. She had been there so many times herself. Falcon 2, 10 seconds. Stay with it. I see the runway. Coming in. 5 seconds. Keep the nose up. Let the back wheels touch first. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. A moment of silence. Then the young pilot's voice came back. Excited. Relieved. I'm down. I'm on the runway. I did it. The cockpit erupted in cheers. The captain laughed. The co-pilot clapped his hands. Sarah smiled and felt tears in her eyes. Excellent work, Falcon 2. You did great. Now brake gently. Roll to a stop. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You saved my life. Sarah's voice was soft. You saved your own life, son. I just reminded you what you already knew. The passenger plane continued on its normal route. The damaged F-16 was safe on the ground. The other F-16 flew alongside for a few more minutes, then peeled away with a friendly wing wave. Sarah took off the headset. She handed it back to the captain. He looked at her with respect and wonder. That was incredible, he said. Who are you really? Sarah smiled tiredly. Just a passenger who used to fly. Eagle One is a legend, the co-pilot said. I heard stories about you in flight school. They said you were the best pilot in the Air Force. They said you died on a classified mission. Sarah nodded slowly. I did die. 7 years ago. And I need to stay dead. Can you understand that? The captain studied her face. Then he nodded. What name should I put in my report? Sarah Miller. Passenger. Seat 12C. She helped translate some radio communications. That's all. The captain understood. Thank you, Sarah Miller. You saved that young man's life today. Sarah left the cockpit. She walked back down the aisle to her seat. People looked at her curiously. They had seen her go to the front. They wondered what happened. The man next to her asked, "Everything okay?" "Yes," Sarah said. "Just helping with a radio problem." She sat down and looked out the window. The sky was clear again. Peaceful. Beautiful. For 7 years, she had missed this. Flying. Helping. Being Eagle One. But she had to stay Sarah Miller. She had to stay invisible. That was the deal she made. That was how she stayed safe. The plane landed an hour later. People gathered their bags and left. Sarah walked out with everyone else. Just another passenger. Nobody special. But as she walked through the airport, she heard something. 2 pilots in uniform were talking nearby. "Did you hear? Some pilot named Eagle One helped save Falcon 2 today. They said Eagle One was dead, but someone used that call sign. Nobody knows who it was." The other pilot shook his head. "Eagle One is a ghost story. Maybe it was just someone pretending. Maybe. But whoever it was, they knew exactly what to do. Save that kid's life." Sarah kept walking. She did not look at them. She did not say anything. She just walked past them like she heard nothing. Outside the airport, the sun was setting. Sarah got into a taxi. "Where to?" the driver asked. "The train station," Sarah said. As the taxi drove away, Sarah looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, a young pilot was alive because of her. He would fly again. He would train other pilots. He would tell the story of how Eagle One saved him. But he would never know that Eagle One was a quiet woman in a gray sweater. A woman who worked at a library. A woman who rode trains and drank coffee and lived a simple life. Sarah reached into her bag and touched the pin with wings. She smiled. Maybe being invisible was not so bad. Maybe the best heroes are the ones nobody sees. The taxi drove on. The sky got darker. And Sarah Miller disappeared into the city, carrying her secrets with her. But somewhere in the sky, pilots were still flying. And if they ever needed help, if they ever got into trouble, they might hear a calm voice on the radio. A voice that knows exactly what to say. A voice that sounds like home. Eagle One was gone. But she was also everywhere. In every safe landing. In every pilot who remembered their training. In every life saved. And that was enough. Sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones we never see. They walk among us quietly, carrying their past in their hearts. They don't ask for thanks. They don't want recognition. They just do what's right when nobody is watching. Remember, courage doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it wears a gray sweater and sits in seat 12C. If this story touched your heart, remember the quiet heroes in your life. The ones who help without asking for anything in return. The ones who stay invisible but make the world better. Thank you for reading this story. May you always have an Eagle One watching over you when you need it most.